Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you an interesting story about Nestle in Japan. So after World War II, Nestle decided to introduce coffee to Japan. Now we all know Nestle is the prime leader of coffee globally. But what happened back then? There's something that failed them. How did a giant like Nestle fail? And what did they do to turn the situation around? So let's find out. So, what happened was, and I'm going to mix a little bit of Hindi also in this video so that people are a little comfortable understanding. Um, Nestle entered Japan with coffee after World War II. एंड उन्होंने बहुत सारे प्रमोशंस सैम्पलिंग एडवर्टाइजमेंट सब कुछ किया बट दे फाउंड इट वेरी हार्ड टू सेल कॉफी इन जापान व्हाई nobody had any clue. The brand managers were perplexed and frustrated and they didn't know what to do at all. But instead of giving up, they called a French psychoanalyst. His name was Clotaire Rapet. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. I am not very good with French names, but that was his name. And they called him and they asked him कि यार आप कुछ करो. There's a problem with this market. They are not responding to our advertisements and such a wonderful product which is priced so affordably. इतने अच्छे से प्राइस किया हुआ है, इतना बढ़िया प्रोडक्ट है, पर कोई खरीद ही नहीं रहा है कॉफ़ी. प्रॉब्लम क्या है, आप पता करो. तो इस साइको एनालिस्ट ने क्या किया? He obviously conducted a few experiments with the audience, with focus groups. So he did some stimulus experiments. Stimulus experiments matlab he made a group of people sit down and he asked them to think about their childhood and then tell them associations that they had with certain things, memories. So they spoke about that and then he asked them, what is the earliest association or memory that you have of coffee? Nobody had any. Can you imagine in a country like India, मतलब बचपन में चाय और कॉफ़ी अलाउड नहीं होती है बच्चों को, लेकिन पता तो होता है चाय कॉफ़ी क्या है. तो और हमारे देश में कॉफ़ी से ज़्यादा वैसे तो चाय चलती है, मिल्क टी और चाय टी एज द अमेरिकन्स कॉल इट. पर coffee is also something that is being consumed for quite a few decades now. So they had no memory of coffee. Why? Because Japan, like India, is a tea drinking nation. Although not milk tea, they drink herbal teas, not trees, teas. But it's a tea drinking nation. So बचपन से अगर आप टी पीते जा रहे हो और आपके घर वाले सब टी पीते हैं तो आपको कॉफ़ी से कोई मेमोरी या एसोसिएशन कैसे डेवलप होगी? नहीं होगी और नहीं थी उनमें. This was a major insight for the psychoanalyst. So he went back to the brand managers and said, look, don't spend your marketing dollars on advertising. You are wasting your money. Your problem is much, much deeper. And he suggested a much longer term strategy. And can you guess what that was? So I'll give you a hint. किसी भी घर में कोई प्रोडक्ट इंट्रोड्यूस करने का सबसे आसान तरीका क्या होता है? सबसे आसान तरीका होता है उन्हें बच्चों के थ्रू इंट्रोड्यूस करना. घर में सबसे पहली चीज़, सपोज लेट्स अज्यूम इट्स चॉकलेट्स, कैसे आते हैं? अगर घर में बच्चा हो तो बच्चा ऐड देखता है और मम्मी पापा को बोलता है, मम्मी मम्मी मुझे ये चाहिए, आई रियली वांट दिस, आई वांट दिस, आई वांट दिस, बिकॉज आई रिमेंबर माई ब्रदर डूइंग इट. ओके. So what Nestle was recommended was that you introduce coffee flavored candies into Japan so that the children can have an association built with coffee from an early age, so that जो प्रॉब्लम हमें दिखाई दे रही थी कि चाइल्डहुड में ही हमको एसोसिएशन डेवलप नहीं हुआ है कॉफ़ी से, वो अभी हो जाए नेक्स्ट जनरेशन से. सो दे रेकमेंडेड दैट यू इंट्रोड्यूस कॉफ़ी फ्लेवर्ड कैंडीज, not caffeinated candies but coffee flavored candies. That became a rage, and because of that it was doubly effective because घर में बच्चे ने लाया तो पेरेंट्स और फैमिली ने भी चखा. So everyone got used to the flavor of coffee in a household and they started liking it. Then 10 years later, 1 decade later, Nestle re-entered the market in Japan in 1970s, if I'm not wrong. They re-entered the market in Japan with coffee, and this time the children that they had targeted earlier were of working age, were at least 15 or 18, and they were accustomed to the flavor of coffee, and coffee sold like this. It captured the market completely. Today, Nestle sells over 500,000, Japan imports over 500,000 tons of coffee every year. And that is one of the big changes that Nestle has brought about in the Japanese market. So, long story short, that was an interesting case study. But another takeaway is that no matter how big of a company you are or how small of a company you are, don't give up. Try to find out the why behind what is working and what is not, and you'll reach your goal. That's it for today, and stay tuned for some more interesting stories. Take care. See you.